Hello YouTube, and I'm back to talk about the CW Arrowverse shows. I want to talk about my hopes and what they can improve in the next seasons here. So first I'm going to talk about Arrow and Flash. Stay tuned for part 2 where I talk about Legends and Supergirl. So about Arrow, since now they have a new showrunner in Beth, who has been with the show since the beginning. I think she's been the producer. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I know she's been there. I follow her on Twitter. She's been very involved with Arrow, but now she's more involved with being a showrunner for season 7, and she has changed the writers room. Now I've never seen the original writers room for Arrow or these past few seasons when Mark Guggenheim was in charge. But for what I've seen, for the photo that they tweeted for the Arrow's writers room, is majority female. I think it's all female. I think there's probably one male writer, and it's different races. So we're on a good start on a show. Over the years have become criticized for having too many male characters or not really providing the female characters. They have great female characters, but they don't utilize them to the full extent. And that I've been agreeing with that for the past few years, whereas other shows have made better strides in that with the DCTV shows. So hopefully with Arrow in season 7 we get to see more dimensions with Felicity. Yes, I'm one of the people who does love Oliver and Felicity, but I want to see her more as a standalone character without having any help from any man. I don't want her to start a company with Curtis. I want her to her own company by herself with her own, smarts and her own tech and her own everything. If she's, so smart and done this great in college and this great, this thus far being with on Team Arrow, I think she should have her own business. And for what Beth has teased, that's what's going to happen hopefully in season 7. And also I hope with Dinah Lance with her, with the new Black Canary that came in a few seasons ago. I hope we get more dimension to her, because even with the divide with the teams and how people have reacted to NTA, non-Team Arrow, and fans' reaction to him has been majorly negative, and I can see that. But with her character, I feel like there was a medium there where they could have made a case for her side or whatever, but the way it was written last season was just not good from either side. It doesn't matter what side you fall on, but the majority of our audience is going to not embrace the new people because we have grown with Oliver and Company. That's a pun, whatever. But we have grown with Oliver and Company over these newer people that came in a few seasons ago, and that's going to happen. And so hopefully with her in particular, I think she's the most interesting out of the two, and I think if they written her better last season, it could have given a case for non-Team Arrow to have, the reason why they separated last season or whatever. So hopefully we get more of that. Hopefully we get more Lila also. I really love that character, and I know the actress is doing another show, but I hope when we do have her, we get more dimensions of her being, leader of Argus and doing everything. I just want the female characters to have a real stake in the show, especially if they've been on the show from the beginning. And if we can see more dimensions of Black Siren, whatever. So hopefully we get that more from Arrow. And, it's hard to ask this from a show that's over 20 some odd episodes. It really is, because I understand why there's a lull when the show comes back in the spring. I understand that because it's so much to write for 23 episodes or whatever. But I hope that, they write for character and not for plot. Because last season really showed that they're just running for plot, and the whole Civil War separation arc was just not written well at all, in my opinion. So hopefully they work on that, and we'll see from there. And hopefully more character moments, like I said, for, everybody, not just for OTA, but for NTA also. I want to like them again because I liked Curtis and I liked the new Black Canary. With with Wild Dog, it was kind of hit or miss with me. Like some moments I felt sorry for him, some I didn't. So hopefully they can bring that back with him. So that's for Arrow. And for the Flash, they've underwent a lot of changes in the past few years, especially this past year with losing one of their major producers. If you don't know his name is Andrew Kreisberg. That's the only time I'm going to say his name, because of being rightfully accused of sexual assault in the workplace. So they fired him. He was a big producer and the big, basically, guy in charge of Flash and Supergirl. So they lost him. The reason why I bring this up, because the major down points of the Flash this past season was Ralph Dibny. How he was making these sexist remarks, measuring women's breast size, and they were writing off as, oh, comedy, oh, we're going to be so funny in season 4 because season 3 was such a drag. Season 3 did have dark things, but to me, it didn't feel like it was a drag. I think people just basically over value that season as being so dark when actually in some parts it was, but it really wasn't. I mean, there was a musical episode, so I mean, it wasn't that dark. But season 4, they were really pumping up the comedy, and with Ralph doing that was the wrong comedy, and it was just plain wrong. And if you could see through the season 4, when we get into the second half of season 4, they really try to rehabilitate the character, and I think they knew what was wrong with him. Obviously, sexist remarks, misogynistic remarks, and they don't want that to reflect on the show because their major producer was fired and accused of those same things, certain ways. So they clearly wanted to rehabilitate the character. And with the actor Hartley Sawyer, I actually like him. I follow on social media, and he is funny. But the way he was written, especially the first half of the season, was really bad. And I really did not like any Ralph-centric episode because it took away from the main cast, not only from Barry and Iris, but also from Cisco, from Caitlin, from basically almost every single character. And I wish that story time went to Wally West, a character who actually matters in the Flash canon. But with that, I hope they continue to rehabilitate that particular character. I think they could really rebuild him. I understand why people still dislike him. I do. But I can see how they can kind of reconfigure that considering what the character was when it began and what he represents and who was in charge. So maybe now that major producer is gone, we can get a better character. So yeah, once again, the same for Arrow. Please write for characters, not for just plot. I understand there's 23 episodes. It's hard to, keep things fresh or whatever, but I just hope we get more character moments than just plot for plot moments. So that's my end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 for Legends and Supergirl.